Hello, everyone. Okay, let's wait for like 1 more minute and then we will start. Okay, dear students, welcome to MentorCon Day 1. My name is Amina, and I am a peer advisor and mentorship program leader at Academic Advising Office. So today we will have a series of sessions from high qualified junior and senior students who will share with you some tips as well as their personal experience. I hope that this event will be very helpful and that you will get to learn some new information that will be beneficial in your future endeavors and your further studies at Nazarbayev University. By the end of each speaker's presentation, you will have a chance to ask your questions either in the chat or by raising your hand. So today we will start our session with the category of high GPA. And the first speaker is Shengles Trarbek, who will share with you some tips on how to stay academically productive. So Shengles, I made you a co-host, so you can now share your screen.
Hello everyone. My name is Shengles Trarbek, and I am third-year student of Mechanical and Aerospace Engineering. Today I will present a presentation on the topic, tips on how to stay academically productive. So let me start. We all know that, we all know that studying at Nazarbayev University is not so easy, and in order to find a favorable job in the future, we need to have high GPA, and in order to get it, we need to study well and remain academically productive. And so I want to share with you some tips. First tip is keep a notepad. Keep a notepad and write in it everything related to study, the list of assignments and homework, their deadline dates from every subject, the list of midterms and finals with their dates and subjects. After completion one of them, cross it out. And I believe that instead of keeping all informations in mind, in a mess, writing and see all this in front of your eyes in assembled form will be help you to organize your studies. Of course, you can write more or modify all I said above as you wish. That will suit you. Let me go to next tip. Second tip is study less but productively. Why some people spend their whole day studying but do not succeed sometimes, and some don't study much and succeed in everything. This is because the first ones study a lot and is not productive, while the second ones studies less but productively. Let me first give examples of unproductive learning. It happens that we sit down to study and we receive notifications, mails, or any other distractions that distract our attention, and the educational process is interrupted several times. Or it happens that we sit down to study and in our head various other thoughts that are not related to study. For example, there might be some thoughts like, I should help my mother to do something, or I need to feed my cat, and something like this. So physically we are studying, but with thoughts we are somewhere else. And thus the educational process stretches for a long time. So this is called unproductive learning. And it's very exhausting and affects academic productivity in a negative way. So that's why it's important to learn studying less but productively. And there is one method to do that. So first of all, measure the time in which you are completely focused on the task, and you do it with the highest quality. It can be 5 minutes, 10 minutes, or even half an hour. Then turn off all notifications and sounds on your phone. Move away from any distractions. After that, set an alarm or timer for the measured time during which you are as concentrated as possible, and start studying without any distractions. After the timer sounds, let yourself rest for a while, but not so much. And after that, repeat this procedure until you have finished your task, or you think that it's enough for today. And this should help you increase your productivity. When I found this method, I read one chapter from the book of technical writing in about an hour or half an hour instead of 5-6 hours. So this method is really helpful. Third tip is do physical exercises or physical recreation. Let me share with another experience from my studies. In my first year, I took Physics 1 from Yernazar, and in one of the lectures, he said that it turns out that Asians are strong in mathematics and in mental work, and he asked why so. So it turned out that due to the fact that they work all day in the field, their mental abilities have also grown. So after that, I became interested in this topic, and it turned out that really physical work enhances mental activity. So it is important not only to devote all the time to study, but also to do physical exercise. Also, you can walk on the street or be engaged in active rest. Tip number 4 is find a mentor. So you should find a mentor from senior courses who will help you with questions. He or she will tell you information about the major, about the internships, about the research opportunities, about courses, which courses will be helpful for you, or something, some kind of that. How to prepare for exams, midterms, finals, how to pass assignments, how to study a particular subject, whom to register at what course, explain some topics in an understandable student language, and who will generally help you for major and other questions. I believe that this will help you very much. So next tip is distribute workload and do not be perfectionist. Do not spend all the time on only one subject at the expense of others. If you don't have time for all subjects, do not be perfectionist and don't study only one subject, but forgetting others. It's better to study every subject for average than one or two subjects for excellent and do not study others. There is one more example of mine. I'm perfectionist, and in my first year, I spent much time for rhetorics and compositions by reading readings, writing weekly 400, 800 words, doing essays and assignments every week, and I forgot about other subjects. So at the end, because of not so good professor, I got average mark for rhetorics, and other subjects also were not so good. So this was not so good experience. Tip number 6 and the last tip is clean your workplace. Clean your workplace from many numbers of papers, books, or anything else that distracts you. I don't know why, but it works. After you clean your workplace, it becomes more easy to study. So thank you for your attention. If you have any questions, you can ask me. You are free to ask.
Thank you very much, Shangas. So yes, if you have any questions, please feel free to write in the chat or to raise your hand. Yes, Ayolo, you can ask your question.
Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Thank you for your presentation. So my question is that how did you manage to organize your workload? For example, I have 4 courses and it's really hard for me to decide what to prioritize. So how did you do that? And do you have any tips on that?
So I think that you need to study every course. So to average grade, for example, for B plus, not A, and you should study every course for average grade, not prioritize any one of them. And it's better to get B plus for every course than getting A for 2 courses and getting B minus or C for 2 others. I think so. Was this helpful?
Okay, I see your point. Okay.
There is a question in the chat from Shahnazar. So what is your GPA as for now? If you are comfortable with answering that question, Shangas, could you please?
My GPA is 3.45 for now. It was lower in my first year when I did these mistakes.
Yes, we will send the presentations as well as the recording of this session to your emails later. Any questions? Okay, so if we don't have any more questions, we can continue with the category of high GPA, and our next speaker, Yulia Massena, will share useful study habits on how to get the highest GPA.
I'm sorry, before we start, question, right?
Yeah, okay, sorry. Yeah. Shungas, there's one more question.
High GPA. Yes, in my group, there are several people who have higher stipends than others. And for example, my GPA is 345, and I am in 18th place from 50 students from my class. So I think it's real to get high GPA in mechanical engineering. My GPA was lower in my freshman year because I did many mistakes. And also one thing, when I studied subjects, I did conspect from every course, and I didn't read these conspects, and I spent much time for nothing. And now I just study presentations, and before the midterms or any assignment, I just repeat these presentations, and that's it. I didn't write any. I don't write any conspects now, so I don't know. Will this be helpful for you? And so I didn't put this in my presentation. So it's individual.
There's one more question.
From school years, I studied in the evenings, doing my homework. So I think I am productive in night times. And also, of course, you should read and prepare for lectures, and or read once for every lecture from every course, and it will be easier to prepare for midterms and finals if you will study in time. My second semester was hard because, as I said, rhetoric and composition took many of my time, and I didn't have time for other courses, and so it was very hard for me. And in my midterms and finals, in my midterms, I got a low grade for every subject except rhetorics, but also for rhetorics, I got average mark. And so it was hard for me, but I did well in finals, so it was okay. So you shouldn't be you shouldn't fall after midterms. So you need to continue to study. In finals, you can get high mark and fix your mark for all course. No, I think I don't need the help of psychologists from now.
Yeah, let's not ask such personal questions. And okay, thank you very much, Shungas. We can now move on to our next speaker, Yulia Massena. Yulia, if you could please share your screen.
Hello, everyone. Yeah, sure. Just a moment. Okay. So, can you see my presentation right now?
Yes.
Okay, great. So, hello everyone. My name is Yulia, and I'm a third-year biology student. And the topic of my lecture today is useful study habits and on how to get the highest GPA as you can. My presentation is not so long. I have several study tips that work on me, and I will be happy to share this with you. So, yeah. I really like the philosophy, Japanese philosophy of Kaizen. And Kaizen, it's a word which consists of actually two words. And the first word is Kai, which is called change. And the second word is Zen, which is good. And it literally means good change or continuous improvement. And I really like this philosophy and apply it to my study process. So what I mean, that if you want to achieve high goals, you need to do little steps every day. So I identified for myself 3 steps, which I usually do. And the first is, as you can see, identify the amount of time required for each subject you take. So the previous speaker also mentioned this point, which is really important for us and especially for students, and especially for freshmen who came from school and they are now in an absolutely new system. And I think that like approximately I spent 2x times more as in lecture time for each subject I take. So if, for example, if your lecture time lasts for, let's say, 3 hours, then I usually spend 6-7 hours for doing my homeworks, assignments, and preparation for midterms or quizzes. So when you identified how much time you need for each subject, and it really depends. For example, when I took organic chemistry in my first semester or freshman year, I spent most of the time on it. And some subjects that were easy for me, I spent less time, like 1 hour, like the same time as lecture time. Next, second step is plan your time, including extra activities. So you need to work on your schedule. And I think it's really important for our brain to understand like the picture of your week. And for example, every week on Sundays, I spend 1 hour to do my scheduling. And in this schedule, I write my lectures and the time I will spend on my homeworks for each day. And when I wake up in the morning, I'm not kind of hesitate what to do. I know what I will do. And it really helps me not to focus on some extra things which are not important for me, like searching in the internet for nothing, or I don't know, scrolling the pages in Insta. So I know at what time I need to do special things. And it's highly important to know in advance what are you going to do. For example, if this week you have an assignment on Friday, let's say, yeah, definitely you need time to prepare for this. So please keep in mind that you need to work on your schedule in advance, like 1 week more later or 2 weeks later, which is quite good. Also in my kind of diary, I have a month scheduling where I write my assignments, quizzes, and midterms. And I think it's really helpful. It helped me in my first year when I came from school and we didn't have such kind of assignments. And it helped me not to lost in a high number of assignments, especially after the fall break. And the third step is do a little step to your goal every day. So actually what you need to do is your action you're doing, right? You identified the time you need to spend on, you schedule this time, now you need to do. So enjoy the process. It's the thing I want to say. Studying is not so easy, but it's really kind of enjoying process because you understand that if I achieve this goal, then I will feel myself like this, right? And sometimes when I feel tired or exhausted or unmotivated, I try to remember myself that, yes, I will feel like this when I will achieve this goal. And it's really helpful tool to remotivate yourself. Okay, this for Japanese philosophy. Let's go further. And there is a list of weekly questions that I ask myself. So as on the previous slide, we saw what to do before you do something, right? Before you do the action. And when you did the action, you actually need to analyze it, right? Because without analyzation, what you do, you lose your energy, you lose your motivation. And there are some questions which I usually ask myself. The first is, what did I do this week successfully? And I really want to stop on this question because I am a perfectionist, as the previous speaker, and I really kind of smiled when he said it. Yeah, it's really important to understand what you did right. And you don't need to kind of demotivate yourself. You need to see that, yes, I'm good in this, I'm strong in this, and I will empower myself in this sphere. But also there is a second question, what do I need to work on more? And I think it's quite good question because you don't focus on your failures, but you focus on your future perspectives. And what are the reasons for this? You can estimate the reasons, and the effect of these factors. Next, what deadlines are reaching for me next week? So again, I do my scheduling. When I will prepare for this assignment, so it's really important for me to understand when I will prepare for the assignments, where I will do this, at home, in the library, on the coffee shop, what events do I want and need to visit this week. For example, you need to understand what kind of events and what extra time you need to kind of plan for this event. If you need to schedule this time, do it in advance. And the last question is, whom do I need to contact? Yeah, and this is quite a good question to ask yourself, because when I was in freshman year, I felt really lonely, because a lot of people, they adapted for the freshman year very quickly. And I was a little bit confused where to go, where to ask the help. And I was really kind of shy to do this. But right now I understand that the process of studying is a process of continuous questions that you have every day. So there are a lot of people that can really help you. And this is as mentors, we are group mates, advisors, and professors. And don't hesitate to ask your professors. They're also people. And it's really kind of interesting to talk with them, not only about like lecture material, but also about their life views and the way they look at this life. They can share their own personal experience, like 20 years later, they were also students, they were freshman students, and maybe they have some kind of experience. Obviously they have, right? Okay, so, and the last one. On this beautiful picture, you see Julia Roberts, my favorite actress, and her participation in the film Eat, Pray, and Love. And I really like the quote, when you study, you need to love yourself. And I really want to motivate you and kind of believe in this quote, that the study process is a hard process. It's a work on your own mental abilities. So what you need to do is to realize that our life is a sequence of little steps. It's not the kind of the sequence of huge single events that we have sometimes, but it's every day. And if you understand this, you enjoy these little steps one by one every day, and the pictures that comes to your mind, how I will look like, how will I feel like in my future. I think it's the most motivating and the most powerful tool for yourself. Next, don't keep silence. You need to communicate with your peers, group mates, lab mates, mentors, advisors, professors. University life, it's not only about studying, but it's also about making network. And when you will graduate, you need to go to work, or maybe you will apply to, I don't know, master degree or and then to doctoral degree, but you also need to communicate with people. You need to build the strong connections to ask advices, or maybe you will find yourself a great businessman and it will work then. Next, enjoy extracurricular activities. Yes, I was a fool, let's say like this, because the first semester I spent only on studying, and it was the worst thing I did for myself, because I lost the opportunity to visit a lot of events. And when I went to home on quarantine, I understood like what that I did a mistake. So try to visit sport clubs, maybe hobbies, extracurricular kind of group mates, traveling, research. These are the activities that you need to try during your time. Like we are having a goal time right now. That's my point of view. And you need to take the advantage of what you have right now, right? Next, enjoy the process of learning. Yes, sometimes it sounds strange, especially when I took, for example, my programming course in the first semester. It was like absolutely useless for me, and I really struggled to go to lectures every time. But I tried to find some reasons why I like this subject, how it will help me in my future life. And the last step is dream big. And it's really important, essential thing to dream big. Don't limit yourself. Don't put boundaries in your mind that you have a limit. No, you don't have. And imagine how the knowledge you are getting right now can be applied to build your future. Imagine yourself in the future. Imagine what life you want to have. And I think it will motivate you. So I'm really happy that you visited this lecture today session. And if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask.
Thank you very much, Yulia. So if you have any questions, feel free to raise your hand or write in the chat. Yes, Alia, you can ask your question.
Thank you for your, I'm sorry, is my sound okay? Or is, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, thank you for your speech. I'm more of an introvert person and I have huge problems with networking. Can you give some advices on how to be social, how to make friends when I am studying online format?
So from my own experience, thank you for the question. It's kind of the question I answered 1 month ago, actually. So I was really shy, and the reason is because I fear to communicate. I fear that some people will not understand me. And the reason is that I was not so confident in myself. So the things I do when I have this kind of struggles and fears, I just imagine the worst kind of thing which can happen with me if I will talk with everyone. And when I imagined this, it was like, okay, if I will ask question, nobody answers, I will not kind of die of this, right? And I imagined this kind of situation and helped me to overcome the fears, the stress that can be associated with this. So yeah, there are a lot of things that can kind of limit yourself, but don't push yourself to the stress. Try to discover yourself, try to put all the boundaries away, and I think you will be great in it.
Thank you. Good.
There's one question in the chat. So apart from being shy, what do you regret now?
Okay, so actually a lot of things. I'm a human and there are a lot of regrets in my life. So I regret the most and the biggest regret that I have in my life, that I understand how powerful I am, but sometimes I don't use my possibilities on 100%. And it's really kind of sad story because we have limited life and nobody knows when it will end up.
Okay, I guess this was it for the category of high GPA. And now we will move on to the category of internships, and Ayjan Kalasova will tell us how to find internships.
Hello, can you see me and hear me? Okay, so am I logging or?
Yeah, your internet connection is kind of lagging a bit. Ayjan, could you please
My name is Ayjan and I am third year.
Ayjan, could you please rejoin the session? Can you hear us? Okay, so we're having some technical issues, which is why Ayjan will present a bit later. And now let's move on to our next speaker. Okay, so. Yes, let's now move on to the subject of research, and Adina Fazil will share her personal experience in biology in particular. Yeah.
So, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, everyone. My name is Adina. I am fourth year biological sciences student, and today I'm going to tell about how could I manage to start working in the lab right after my first year. And then I will briefly talk about what I have done there, and also, let's say, give you advice how to find labs and reach professors. So let's start. The professor where I work in the lab, his project was related to cell growth. So the lab was called Cell Growth Regulation. And this is Professor Dr. Basov's lab, and his main focus was on KRAS mutant cancer cells, which is mostly found, this mutation mostly found in pancreatic and colorectal and also in lung cancers. This is kind of bad cancer type because it's like untreatable. And my professor was researching this topic, and he was focusing on induction of oxidative stress, which is reactive oxygen species. I think biologists will recognize these strange words, which is peroxide, superoxide, and hydroxyl radicals from oxygen. And also his interest was glucose-dependent nuclear condensation. He tried to use this condensation to stop proliferation of cancer cells. And now to the topic of how could I came here. And I was lucky enough. So in like January 19th, I received email. I think not only I, also there was like email from biology department saying that we have a new professor and he's going to have seminar about his research interest. And I was quite interested in cancer before, so I found his topic about cell growth interesting for me, and I attended this seminar. Also, I was like quite excited to have such professor whose interest like coincides with me. After I didn't go right after the seminar to him, but waited. I don't know why, but I completed my first year and went only after the spring semester, before the summer semester. So I wrote him email about that I'm interested in your topic and could I start work as research assistant. But at the time, after the first year, second year students were not allowed to like work as research assistants. So, but he called me to his office, and we had a mini interview, and then he agreed to accept me, but I was like just research trainee without the contract. I started working in the lab. So here, what I have done here, you can see big two pictures, like control cells, which is cancer cells, colon cancer cells, HCT116. They are adherent cells. You can see many of them here, just perfectly proliferating cancer cells. And after his method of combination of drugs, we treated those drugs, and yet like detached cells, you can see clumps here, which is dead cells, dead cancer cells, which is good for us. So we did these experiments. We cultured cells. We grew these cells in incubator and observed their proliferation, also treated with different drug combination, tested. Again, you can see on the right side that we have collected from the dish, and with trypsin, we detach those cells and tried to collect it for like further examination. We did gel electrophoresis, Western blot, immunoprecipitation experiments. We tried to analyze different histone modifications, And also we try to detect ROS, reactive oxygen species, with cytometer, flow cytometer. And also you can see just small part of the, I could take picture, and this is that. And my advice for you how to find, you can, first advice is to find the interesting topic. So you can search it on the Research KZ. On the left side, you can see that here different departments, the Department of Biology, Chemistry, Computer Science. You can click there and find here on the bottom, you can see fingerprints, different topics you're interested, centrosomes, maybe gene therapy, or proteins. You can click here and you can find professors, research topics, and find the professor and just read their published papers, interests. And if you are interested in that, you can email them and say that you would be happy to work with them. If you are first and second year students, you can say that as research trainee without the contract, or maybe if you are third or fourth year, you can officially get contract and become research assistant. And another way, I think, is to talk with the professors, because on the lectures, after the lecture, about his interest. Just show your passion, interest in some particular field, maybe. So you can maybe he or she themselves will offer you to work with you, or maybe with them. Maybe you say that you'd be happy to work. Just communicate, and maybe you can find the right person, right professors with them again. And don't be afraid of being interviewed, because I didn't expect that my professor will ask interview, but I could manage to prepare, and showed him that I have read a lot of his papers, and why I'm interested in that, and what can I do with this research experience, with this knowledge in the future. How can I develop further, or how can I contribute to the community, to this field. So about your future plans. Again, that's it. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Thank you very much, Adina. So if you have any questions regarding research, and especially research in biology, you can ask your questions in the chat, or again, raise your hand.
This is not only for biology. You can use that Research website to find another, like we saw here, computer science, engineering, any type, and just email your professors.
Hello, can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Okay.
I want to ask if research paper or work of this professor is too difficult to understand, but you are interested in topic, what to do then?
Yes, it's quite hard, like their PhD professors with PhD degree, and they're like huge papers. First, try to read the abstracts and understand. So as I understand, you are getting point of the topic. You know what is the topic. You don't need like to examine that professor's paper like into details. It's enough to have like a general picture, a general overview. what this professor is doing, and what could you do with him, and just show that you are interested, your passion. It's not necessary to show that details. Oh, you used this drug with this concentration, and you get this result. You just it's enough to know that which drug he's used, maybe, and what kind of results he get.
Oh, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Is it possible to start being involved in research works in the first year? It seems like 13, 14 more. Yes, it's they are more privileged, and they could get a research assistantship. But as you see, professors like when you show interest, even you are first year student. I attend lab like after the first year, but we had in the lab our one member who is first year student. Like he was also passionate about, and showed that maybe my professor could reject once or twice, but if students show real interest and desire, professor will accept you. It's okay that you it's clear that the first year, second year students will not know a lot of techniques, methods, but they are they're prepared to learn new things, and they could get the basic things, and I think professors will consider it. Just try, why not? Maybe you'll be rejected, or then okay, you can go find another professor. So like, just it's experience. Asel, is it answer?
Yes, thank you very much.
Have you ever taken courses during summer to make your future workload easier? Yes, exactly. I have taken 2 summer courses with 8 credits, and now I have only 24 credits for this semester, and I plan to take also 24 credits for the next semester. So I think it's quite convenient for me right now, but it was quite hard in the very first my summer semester. But if you could manage it, it's a good tip.
I have one more question. Can I ask? Can you describe what a research assistant generally do? Yeah, of course, it differs from major to major, but generally.
Oh, okay. So mostly we have lab meetings. Professor will present what we are going to do and which experiments we are going to conduct, and give research design. And in the lab, we have also not only you, first or second year research trainee, maybe, but also fourth year senior students who is working officially as research assistant. And they will be supervising you. They will be conducting main and important part of the experiment, but they can give you like small tasks like counting cells, culturing cells, subculturing cells, and also maybe treating, just adding the drugs, and that's simple works that you can, they think that you can do, and they will supervise it. Also, professors will teach you how to do some new techniques, and they will do once or twice, then you learn, you try, you fail, you learn again, and you try successfully. Does this answer your question, Adia?
Yes, thank you very much.
And also junior lab members do cleaning works with glass.
Any more questions for Adina? Okay, thank you very much, Adina, for your presentation.
Thank you
Now,
Anna, for me.
I think Ayjan is back with us. So if we could, are you here, Ayjan?
Yes, I'm here. Can you see me and hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, I'm again sorry for internet troubles. So, okay, my name is Nijan and I'm third year PSIR student, and I have quite experience in passive internships. So this topic is how to find the internships. And in case someone doesn't know what are internships, this is the chance of getting employed by some place, company, or organization for a short period of time. This can vary from 3 months to 6 months to 9 months, and this is like getting part-time job, and you can handle it with your studies. And internships can be paid or unpaid, and yeah, and in the end of the internships, you can be offered a full-time job, or in some cases, internships finish some project or some events is that I have internships. One is in the first My third internship was quite not so.
Ayjan, we cannot really hear you.
Can you hear me? I'm so sorry. Guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, so I don't know if you heard me. So my third internship was in the BTS Digital, which is Kazakhstan-based company, startup hub, and it was during my third year. Okay, we can move to next slide. So I want to present you 3 methods of finding an internship, and the first one is the easiest one. Just search for the websites of the companies where you want to pass your internship, and they always have this section called careers, and in that section they usually have current vacancies in which you can find internships, or if there are no current internships available, then you can find another section in the careers called just internships. They are not current positions, but some companies offer a whole year available internships. And you can apply for that internships in the websites itself just by leaving your CV. And if you don't have, again, vacant internships available, then you can subscribe for the year job vacancies announcement, and they will send emails your email if they have You can also register for the talent pool, and like if they have some open vacancies, then they will just consider you for that vacancies automatically if you are in the talent pool. But if you just subscribe for their job announcements, you just get the job announcement and you just have to apply for that differently. And another method is that you can search for their Instagram. Now all companies, all organizations have their Instagrams, and they actively post their vacancies in Instagrams. And if you just search, you can find all the opportunities in websites in the Instagram. Yes, next slide. Our second method is quite important. I advise, if you didn't do that before, to make up your LinkedIn account, to organize it, and subscribe in LinkedIn for the company's accounts and track them. Usually all the companies or organizations, they post their current positions in LinkedIn, and you can apply there. Next slide. And third method is if you search for the website for Instagram and they do not have current positions, current vacancies, then just organize your CV, write your cover letter, and you look up for the emails of the companies in their websites and send your CV and the cover letter to them. The ways of organizing in a good way your CV and the cover letter all can be found in the Google, in some good websites, and you can search for that also in some blogs in Instagram. And quite lots of companies, they answer for that emails. They will look up with your CV and cover letter and will contact you and ask for interview. And in my experience, the first 2 internships that I had, I contacted by myself. I mean, they didn't have some current vacancies, and I sent my CV and the cover letter to their emails and had my internship. And the third one, I found it the announcement in the Instagram account of the company BTS Digital. So if you just want to do something, just look up for the opportunities by yourself in websites and Instagram, and you just can easily find internships. And if you do not have opportunities available, then create by yourself by sending your CV and the cover letter. And I advise you to pass internships after your first year in summer if you can handle it, because internships, they really help you to understand if you are on which subjects in the matter you are good, on which you have to improve yourself. And for example, in BTS Digital, I was marketing intern, and after the internship, I really understood that marketing is not my subject, that I don't love doing marketing things, and it was quite helpful. So that's all. Thank you. Do you have any questions?
Yediga has a question. You can ask your question.
Yes, thank you for your presentation. I want to ask how for example, you suggested after first year we should go to the this internship for the summer. So it's like 3 months internship, yes?
Yes, actually, everything depends on the company and on you. So in the requirements of the internship of companies, it is always written the exact amount, the exact duration of the internship. If it says 3 months, then it's 3 months. If it says 6 months, classes, then you consider before be available for 6 months. But actually, all the companies are very flexible, and if you say that you are only available for 6 months, consider and yeah. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Did
we
you hear
can
my
hear now.
advice?
Partly, but my main question, if there are half year or year long lasting internship, how to combine lessons at university and internship?
Yes. Okay. How to combine them with the places?
Yes, how to combine lesson and internship if they're long lasting.
This really depends on your time management skills and your discipline. So handle internship and lessons too. So it really depends on your time management and your discipline.
Yes, Ayjan, could you please answer
so my microphone is on.
Okay. Ayjan, could you please write your answer in the chat?
You keep turning off my microphone.
Okay, so if you have any questions for Ayjan, please just write it in the chat and she will reply in the chat. And we will move on to our next speaker, who is Aknur Timreva. She will tell us a bit about the benefits of being a research assistant. Aknur, if you could please share your screen.
Of course. Hi, guys. I hope you are doing well. So let me share my screen. And I will talk about being a research assistant. So what are the benefits of it? So if you have questions, we'll discuss it later on. So let's start. Okay. So I hope that you can see it. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So let's start. So today we'll discuss research opportunities, of course, about being research assistant and what benefits can you have from that. So let me start from introducing myself. My name is Aknur Timreva. Currently, I'm Minister of External Affairs. Also, I'm research assistant of Professor Shahtaval, and I'm member of NU Enactus Club. And of course, I'm mentor at and AIO. So I'm third year chemical engineering student. So, and my professor is Dawal Shah. I said about it. So currently we are focusing on the theme of molecular dynamics, ionic liquids, and also we are working on municipal solid waste, about nanomaterials, chemistry, and this kind of stuff. So let's start. What does a research assistant do? So firstly, you are going to work with a lot of data, a lot of literature review. So you have to read a lot of papers. So you have to be ready for that. The second one is about experiments. So the most important, of course, if you are, for example, conducting some, like experiments related to your research. So you have to do it on your own. Of course, you will have some mentors who will help you, but in general, it is your your responsibility. The third one is about collecting and analyzing data. So you have to work with them. You have to create some spreadsheets, Excel files, or maybe some softwares like Python, MATLAB, and so on and so forth. So you have to work with them. So try to learn your courses that you are having now, like deeply, to work like confidently with this data. Next one, of course, scoring, coding, entering data. So I said about it. And of course, you have to assist your professor with reports. So you have to write what did you do? So in general, in the end of the month of each period, we have to submit some reports. This is a report what you did in this month. So you are going to summarizing everything that you had. For example, your results from experiments, your data, your literature review. You have to send a lot of like papers as a report. So next, why should you become a research assistant? So let's talk about that, the benefits of it. So the first case is about skills and knowledge. So if you want to gain some skills related to experiments, about research, you have to work. It will help you. So usually we learn theoretical data in our daily classes, but about practical stuff we don't focus on. So therefore it is very important. The second one, of course, it is a letter of recommendation, because always, for example, if you want to go to master's or graduate school or job, you'll need a letter from your professor. So your professor can write this kind of letter for you. The third thing is networking. Of course, you are not only one research assistant of your professor. You're going to have your own, team of research assistants that you will work together. Of course, not always you will have your personal stuff, but in general, you will have other research assistants that you can ask for questions and other stuff. So therefore, it is very good opportunity for you to network with other students who have similar career goals. Also about mentoring. So usually in our daily classes that that you always like have lectures where your professor asks you sometimes, yes, but in general he explains your lecture, but you don't have practice at all. You have to conduct this practice individually, but being as a research assistant help you developing a mentoring relationship with a faculty member. So you are going to be close with your professor, work together, so you can ask any questions related to your like concerns about your future opportunities, your goals. So it will be very helpful. Next, number 5 is your career. So this one for me is very important because it will help you to determine your way. For example, in my case, I don't know if I'm going to work in industry in the future when I finish my like chemical engineering major, or am I going to continue my master's and PhD. So I don't know exactly, but now being a research assistant will help me to determine this way. Currently, I think that I'm more interested in being like in conducting research. So maybe I will go further, like after master's, I will go to PhD. But also the second way is about industry. So in industrial cases, it's also different from, from your just theoretical data. You need a lot of practice, but usually in university, you don't have like a lot of practice. So therefore, being a research assistant will help you with that. And the last one is also important. It is about money. So of course, you are going to sign a contract with your professor and you will get like paid monthly payment for your job. So you are going to earn some money, not only stipend. So it is also important. So I didn't open the chat. So let me answer all questions in the end, okay? And the last one, how can you become a research assistant? Firstly, you have to collect information about your professors. You can do it by going to a new portal. So in our new portal, we have a lot of information regarding our professors. So you can search them. And of course, always read research papers that they conducted before. They have like the list of their research. So you can look through. If you're interested in this topic, you can choose this professor. For example, one professor that, I don't know, he's working in nanomaterials and you like you are interested in this topic. Of course, in that case, you have to choose this professor and you have to contact him. So the second one, of course, contacting me via email, and be very, very careful. Your email should be official. So you have to write very official letter to your professors that you are interested in conducting like research, in being a research assistant. So you have to write an email. The third case, wait for a response. Don't like hurry up and write, I don't know, for 5 or 6 professors. Don't do that like that. Write to one professor and firstly, wait for a response, whether he or she can accept you, like if he has available position or not. So you have to wait. If he doesn't have a available position, so you have to write the second one too. Second one or the third professors that you have chosen before. The fourth stage is about CV or resume. So you have to send your CV to your professor if he asks him, but usually, of course, all professors ask for your resume. And of course, you are going to have an interview with him. So it will be like the process of getting a new job. So it is very similar. You're going to have a Zoom meeting with him or I don't know, offline meeting with him, and you'll answer his questions. And then if he accepts you, of course, you will sign a contract and become a research assistant. So I guess that's all. Thank you very much. So do you have any questions, guys? So let me open my chat. Sorry, because I didn't open it before. So how you handle your internship lessons? Oh, not this question. Is there any opportunity to make agreement with the school if internship?
Ahmed, I think there are no questions in the chat, but Edege is raising his hand.
Oh, Edege.
Yes. Hello, Akhnur. Thank you for this presentation. It was useful. I want to ask, what I want to ask, 1 second. Yes. Yeah, we can't sign an official contract with the professor unless we are second-year student. Yes, am I correct?
So actually, it depends. For example, I know some guys who are pursuing their first year, but as far as I know, yes, you cannot officially sign a contract,
Yes.
but you can be a research assistant in your first year. You can just assist your professor, so it will help you to gain some knowledge and experience before going to the second year. And in the second year, of course, you will sign a contract and you will become a research assistant.
Yes, that's what I want to clarify. We can be like unofficial assistants that will gain knowledge, but only officially in second year. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you too. Who else have any questions? Do you have any questions, guys? Actually, I recommend you being a research assistant, not only for technical majors, but also like humanitarian ones, economics. They have also research like works your professors also have. So you can be a research assistant in any major. Okay. Any question? You can mute yourself, raise your hands.
Little question. Will you send your presentation?
Oh, of course, I can send it to Amina. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have
Diana, we can't really hear you.
a question. Where do you find firms so you can find internships? Do you have some criteria?
Could you please write your question in the chat because we cannot hear you?
Oh, I guess we have one more question in the chat. Generally, how much money is research assistant paid? So actually, yes, like you have a minimum of price, I guess, 42, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not sure. Like it is a minimum amount of money for 1 month. Okay. Of course, you can get more if you work harder. So in dollars, it will be $100.
Yes, answering the question too. So basically during fall or spring semesters, the average salary for research assistants in undergraduate studies is $100. But if you are a research assistant in summer, you will receive $300 a month.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, you exactly said that. How I'm receiving money. Are there any needs from CS major? Okay, we have one more question. I cannot answer this question because I'm not sure. I don't know about a race from computer science major, but as I assume, yes, because in all majors they have some research assistants. Any more questions, guys? Yes, I haven't heard about them too. Oh, yes, you can live on campus in summer term. I mean, for example, I lived in campus because I was research assistant, and your professor will help you to take place in dormitory. If you're, I mean, if you're assisting your professor, of course, you need to live in campus. But it depends. If you're working on, for example, literature review, and your professor says that, oh, you don't have to be here, so yes, you can live like at home. But if your professor needs you, then you have to move to dormitory.
Okay, thank you very much, Ahmed, for your presentation. It was very interesting. And I guess now
question.
we can... Okay, sorry.
Quick question. Sorry. So how many hours in a week approximately it will take?
Oh, this term is specified in your contract. So there is a maximum amount of contract. For example, I signed a contract for like half period, firstly, and then for 3 months, it was my second period. So in the first period, I have to pursue 16 hours for this, like 15 days. So, but it depends. Okay, like you're signing a contract, of course you have a term, but I'm not working, for example, 16 hours like per 2 weeks, because it depends on the amount of work you have to pursue. Okay, your professor will assign you tasks. If you work like if you complete your works better and faster, of course you are going to work, for example, 2 hours a week, and that's fine.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess we can now move on to our next speaker, Dana Albakirova, who will tell us about research in math.
Hello, thank you for giving me a floor. So I guess now you are convinced to become a research assistant by ACNUR. So let us consider one potential area where you can do research. Let me share my screen. Can you see the screen now?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great. So we are going to talk about one of the mainstream areas currently, data science and computer vision. So let me just briefly introduce myself. My name is Dana. I am a senior math major student. Currently, I work as an undergraduate research assistant at the Institute of Smart Systems and Artificial Intelligence here at the NU. We'll be talking about it in details a bit later. And also, I was a research assistant this summer at the Queen's University Belfast at the UK, Northern Ireland. And at the ISAI, this is the abbreviation for Institute of Smart Systems and Artificial Intelligence, I'm working as a research assistant for almost 1 year, I guess. So during my work there, I'm co-authored the conference paper in computer vision. The revision is in progress, and we are going to receive a response in 2 days, so pray for our acceptance. And I'm also peer advisor at AAO. And I was a member of Ministry of Research and Innovations previous semester. And during my membership there, we have launched several projects for aimed to increase research activity at NU. And one of them was Researcher's Handbook, where you can find all the information about being research assistant here at NU. And actually, the questions that you have written in the chat box already present there. So I will give the link to this handbook at the end of the presentation. You can check and find all information there. I am also a peer mentor. I was a peer mentor in the previous year, and now let me just now move on to the core question of this presentation. What is computer vision? Have you ever imagined how the robots or smart systems read the information from the images? Because probably for you, it's just so unnoticeable how you can look at the picture and immediately assume the information there, the information presented there. Like, for example, this girl is drinking a cup of tea. However, for robots, it's really hard to interpret this information properly. Even though he can see this girl drinking tea, he doesn't actually know that this activity is called drinking tea. So in order to help robots and other smart systems, and by smart systems, I mean those, for example, cameras at the Mega Silkway that are detecting your faces and checking your temperature. So I think you know what are the smart systems, and computer vision helps these systems to properly interpret this information from the images or videos. So now I guess you know what is computer vision, and you can understand it. And as you can see, it incorporates a wide range of disciplines, starting from computer science, ending with psychology and biology. So if you are not in the related field, I mean, if you are a biological science student or robotics student, you can also consider doing research in data science and computer vision. And that's why please listen and answer your, write the questions in the chat box. So let me talk about my activity at Institute of Smart Systems. Firstly, our institute aimed to increase the research in digital sphere in Kazakhstan. Let me show you the website. It is here. You can visit it during your free time if you want and find all the necessary information about the current projects. For example, we are working on chest X-ray disease classification system, speaking faces, Kazakh to speech, text-to-speech conversion technology, and etc. And I'm specifically working on the speaking faces dataset, more specifically on the thermal version of this dataset. This is a dataset that we acquired at our institution. Basically consists of subjects that are talking. We have given them a short text, and they were reading it, and we just took the picture, the picture of them. And this dataset will help us to develop very robust face detection algorithms so that we can use it in any other applications and in many smart systems, for example, face detectors or face recognition systems. So, and our current project and the topic of the conference paper that we have submitted was face detection on thermal images. Basically, it is face detection and facial landmarks detection. I think I forgot to present. So here, by facial landmarks, I mean these key points on the face. We were also aimed to detect them on the thermal images. So why we consider thermal images? It's actually when I read the papers and do literature review for my research, I immediately start to look for applications of this research, because otherwise I don't see the point in this research. That's why let me just briefly mention the applications. Thermal images, in contrast to just visual images, simple images, contains very unique physiological information, and also is invariant to illumination, because as you may notice while taking the photo on your iPhone or other smartphones. If the illumination is not good enough, the quality of the photo really suffers. That's why it is the main challenge in detecting faces on visual images, because visual cameras are really sensitive to illumination conditions. That's why we consider another domain, thermal images, and depending on these main two properties, we have many applications. For example, surveillance, target acquisition, night vision. And another property is really widely used in the medicine and biometrics, I mean, unique anatomical and vascular information. We can use it face detection in thermal images for fever detection, affective state analysis, and emotion detection. So probably it is I mean, face detection is really important in many spheres we encounter daily. That's why I was really interested in doing this research, and I'm really enjoying my work. I also recommend you to find the area of interest, and to find it, you can visit such sessions, for example, like MentorCon or another sessions organized by our student clubs, and you can easily find your research interest. What do you need to know about the research in data science and computer vision? And why actually I'm talking, while I'm talking about computer vision, I also talk about data science, because data science is incorporated in this, in everything, because before doing research, you need to make the data preprocessing steps. As Aknur said previously, you need to clean the data, you need to deal with tons of data, raw data, and you need to just eliminate all redundant data. And that was called data science, actually. And inside data science, you can find the related areas such as machine learning, computer science, and etc. So what do you need to know? It's mathematics, these three basic courses. So I strongly recommend you to pay attention while doing the coursework for these courses. And also computer science, you need to know. It's not like required you to know, nobody requires you to know machine learning, data structures, algorithms, and database systems before you start doing research, but it is highly encouraged in order for you to be ahead of others and to catch information as fast as possible. Also robotics, there are some robotics courses that are, you may find them useful. It is image processing and machine learning. We have two machine learning courses, as you may notice. It is from computer science department and robotics department. So another area that you may consider is research in data analysis. That's actually the research that I was doing in UK, Northern Ireland. I was remotely working because of pandemic, even though I was supposed to be on site. We were remotely working on the project about the quantification of interactions, pupils' interactions during the classroom. We were analyzing data of small children that are studying at school and their behavior during the classroom. So it is not actually quantifiable data. You can imagine that in the Excel file, you will deal with the data that is represented in the form like the child is sitting or standing or I don't know, listening, talking, and we needed to quantify this data so that we can extract meaningful pattern and information. So we were developing techniques to visualize these interactions. And this data actually is called time series data because it depends on time. We were analyzing the behavior of students as time went during the class. So also we applied analyzing, interpreting, and identifying. We applied some techniques, data interpretation techniques, for analyzing, interpreting, and identifying the interactions between variables in this raw data. This is the university that I was working at. It is recognized that one of the UK's leading research-intensive universities, and has many partnerships, research partnerships, and it was really a great experience for me because I had, as Aknur mentioned, you will have, one of the benefits of doing research is to get good relationships with profs and that can help you in the future to who can recommend you to the graduate schools and also give some advices and tips. So my advice, as being a senior student, I want to give an advice for you, for freshman students. During your first year, focus on courses, really try to increase your GPA, and also try to find your area of interest, because it is, you can just watch some movies, I don't know, or maybe attend such info sessions and easily find your research interest. And also you can build strong background knowledge. By background knowledge, I mean, if you have found some research interest that you can take the relevant courses on Coursera, even though you are not permitted to do it during your studies. Probably you cannot take, you will not be able to take 300 courses during your second year or first year. So that's why just watch some courses on Coursera. I will recommend them a bit later. And during your second year, find a professor, start doing research, and try to make a scientific publication. I know it might be hard to publish a paper during your second year. That's why at least start doing that and make some steps toward this publication. So, and for us, for researchers, publication is like a result of your hard work. That's why it is really important. And during your third and fourth years, you should find opportunities abroad, because you will be able to do that since you have already had experience during your second year and first year. That's why it will be easier for you to find opportunities abroad. Also, continue engaging with professors and prepare for graduate programs. If you have heard about the exams such as GRE, GMAT, so it is better taking them earlier, because they will clash with your course work, capstone project, and maybe your research publication. So take them as soon as possible. And next is useful courses. As I mentioned before, these are the courses that you can take on Coursera. And I took personally the one about intro to CS and programming in Python. Also, I was watching the machine learning course from Stanford. Also useful resources. I forgot, I don't know how. So you watch tutorials from our ISAI at our YouTube channel. Actually, recently I have posted a tutorial on face detection. Let me show you briefly here. You can find all necessary tutorials. And also read our researcher's handbook from Ministry of Research and Innovations. The information regarding how you can start doing research, how to find your research interest, and what the salary for research assistants, and when you can sign officially a contract, and so on. Finally, if you are really interested in computer vision, you can get started learning it from this book. It is really interesting, and the language is very simple. You can non-programming student can easily understand it. So I strongly encourage you to read this book. I guess that's it. Thank you for attention. If you have any questions, you can unmute yourself or drop them in the chat box.
Thank you very much, Dana. There's one question in the chat box. So what's the difference between machine vision and computer vision?
Well, honestly speaking, I haven't heard about the concept of machine vision. Probably machine are, if just intuitively, machine may include the computer, the computer is a subset of machine, and machine can be referred to many like smart systems, also robots and etc. So, but I'm not sure really. I haven't heard about the term machine vision. Also, here's a specific question about ISAI. Is it working on medical diagnostics with computer vision? As far as I know, no, it is a project that it was already completed, but if you became really interested, you can approach the contacts are on the website. You can email them and ask if there are some similar projects, or maybe a professor can recommend you some projects on the application of smart systems in the medicine. We have several ones there. So yes, I will send this presentation. I guess that's it. Or
Can I ask questions?
Yeah, sure.
I have several questions because your topic is much with my interest. So thank you for this presentation. There were a lot of practical information. And first question I want to ask about student club. You mentioned that you can join student club so you can determine your research interest. So what is that research student club name and what?
So if you're math students, if you are a math student, I recommend you to join SIAM, the Association of Industrial and Applied Mathematics, Society of Industrial and Applied Mathematics. I was a member there. So they can help you to find some areas where you can apply the knowledge in math. And also in computer science, I would recommend you to enter ACM. If you have heard about it, they are really active. They are, especially for women, they are doing a lot of effort increasing the women's role in computer science. But actually itself, ACM is really a good club, and it is functioning very actively. That's why I encourage you to enter there.
From what year you started as a research assistant?
Well, I'm not sure if it has changed now, but for me, it was officially possible to be research assistant only at the third year of your undergraduate studies. That's why I started during my first 30 years. And actually, it was, I can't say that it was late, but I know that it would be better to start earlier, even though on paid basis. But I still have chances to, it depends on how hard you will work, and if you will become research assistant later, you can still succeed and outperform those who started earlier. So that's my...
Did you started research assistant like in ANU first and after at the Berkeley University? Am I right?
No, it's not Berkeley, but yeah, I wish it was Berkeley.
First you start at Berkeley?
No, I first started at Institute of Smart Systems. I was doing the research there in parallel, and then during my summer, I just felt that I need to find another opportunity, and it should be abroad. That's why I decided to do research internship in UK. It is Queen's University, Belfast, and that's
Belfast, yes.
Yeah, it's not Berkeley.
Okay, and is it was like online or offline?
Yeah, I mentioned that because due to pandemic situation, it was remotely, but it was really good. I mean, even though it was remotely, I have good relationships with that profs, and those profs, and they can help me with recommendation letter, and it's not really constrained. Just maybe from the perspective of traveling and seeing new places, it is really sad, but it didn't affect my work at all. Since I'm programming student, my research was related to programming. That's why it isn't. You really don't need to go there. And
the last question about computer vision. So, are there any investigation about lip reading, like? Do you understand like lip reading? I mean that in the video, like person talking without audio, computer vision understands what people are exactly talking about?
I'm sure that there are such applications and research, but I don't know if it is really needed, because for robots, they can hear the voice, and they should read the lips when there are voices available. And there are many research areas for voice extraction and reading the voice, also text-to-speech conversion, and so on.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And there are also questions in the chat box. What GPA should be maintained by students to be admitted for summer internship at ISAI? Well, as far as I know, my ISAI don't have such strict criteria in terms of GPA, but they have really, you should have the GPA higher than 3 at least, because it's not about like it is criteria, but it will be good for you, because probably if you have GPA that is lower than 3, you will be struggling with combining research, internship, and your studies. But if it comes to the summer internship, I think there are some they don't have some strict requirements. You can apply, but from in the previous years they had really long list of applicants, so I don't know if they had criteria. So what should I do if I already failed my midterm exams? How to keep good GPA? It's not really my topic, but my personal advice would be not to to get demotivated, to feel inferior. Don't underestimate your abilities and just keep working. You may fail your exam maybe because you studied something wrong, or maybe you don't have right study technique. Actually, we had yesterday a session about study tips. You can visit it on our YouTube channel. And so just keep working, just keep trying another techniques. You eventually will succeed. And also don't lose any hope. That's the main thing, to stay emotionally strong, because if you are not emotionally strong enough, you cannot succeed academically also. How did you get accepted for abroad internship? Was there anything unique in your CV? Well, by unique, maybe that was the research internships at ISAI already helped me a lot, because it differentiated me from other candidates. I had already experience in dealing with large scale data, and especially image data. Also, while then my prof elaborated for me that during my interview there were plenty of candidates, but they chose me because I was asking the relevant questions. They were really relevant because I was really interested in the research project, and that's why I asked some very specific and advanced questions that differentiated me from other candidates, because I know that many of us had some skills, programming skills. Otherwise, they did not consider us for these internships. That's why I think having an interest in your job applying is really important, and asking very relevant questions also might help you to get the job and internship. And also maybe I had some research projects already in the CV, good GPA, and so on. So I think there are no more questions. Or Shahnazar?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
So my question was about like, how did your interview process occurred? Like, did they force you to like solve some coding problems right during the interview, or they were mostly about like conceptual questions about your research background and so on? What kind of interview it was?
They didn't test my programming skills, but as far as I know, for CS student, it is necessary and mandatory part because you will be passing the technical interviews. But for me, it was just conceptual interview, but with some specific questions regarding the project. I had time to get acquainted with the project because in the application, they were already had some project description. That's why I have just made some research, literature review in that field. And maybe also there was the description of the software that they are going to use. And I also had a look on that software and prepared to the interview in that way. And the interview itself was like, he described his project and asked me that if I'm ready to work there. I said yes, and he also was asking some specific questions regarding the project, like how would you approach this problem? Do you have any suggestion? How can we implement that? And I was just giving my opinion and also asking some questions. And did I answer all your questions? Because
yes, but I also had like last question. Like, did you apply to Yesena Foundation or
no,
or it was like autonomous internship? Like it wasn't connected to Yesena Foundation.
It was not connected because Yesena has stopped this program for previous year and the other year, but I'm not sure if they are going to launch it again, relaunch it this year. So I have applied through the exchange program. You can check it in the website. It's just an organization that helps you to helps you to prepare the documents, but your acceptance solely depends on your abilities. They cannot guarantee your acceptance. Just maybe some, like if it was a remote, not remote internships, they would provide me the all living place. They would provide me with living places there, and also some I don't know, bureaucratic stuff, but the acceptance is not guaranteed there, but you can check it anyways. I will just type it in the chat box. So if you don't have any questions.
Yeah, I guess that's it. Thank you very much, Diana. And now let's finish up our event with the last category of active social life. Our speaker, Malika Rahmjana, will tell us about the importance of participating in student clubs.
Hello, everybody. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. So you can see everything, right? So hello, everybody. My name is Malika, and the topic of my presentation today is a little bit different from the previous speakers because they were like heavily promoting the academic opportunities at our university. But, you know, we also have a lot of extracurricular stuff. So today I'm going to discuss why it's important. So let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Malika, and I'm a third-year political science and international relations student. I was an ex-minister of media and communication at the student government. And right now I'm the vice president of the, I'm really sorry for that. I'm the vice president at the Association of Political Science Students. Also, I'm a peer advisor and peer mentor here at the Academic Advising Office. I'm a PSR Center representative. I was a member of the MUN Club. I also had an internship at the Astana Hub, International IT Startup Hub, and I was a volunteer in UNICEF. And this is something that you have already seen previously on the posters of the advising office. But let's just jump right into the topic of my presentation. And the most important thing that I think is valuable about the experience at the student clubs is, of course, people. So there are a lot of pictures on the background, and I think in every of the picture you can see my little face somewhere hidden there. And you know, at the student clubs you will meet a lot of people, and like the amount of people here on the pictures is not just limited to it. There are way more people that you will meet, And I know maybe for now you don't think it's very realistic because you know you're online, but there for sure will be the time where you will return on campus and you will meet all those people. And even online, still you can interact with them via Zoom. And the most amazing thing is that when you work in a student club, you are surrounded by the most talented, motivated people. They're very inspiring. So you like kind of look at each other and become better because you learn from their achievements, from their mistakes as well. So, you know, it's kind of an interactive process. And you create, I hope, lifelong connections there, because one important thing is that you will never know who the people you are working with will become in the future. So maybe right now you are working at a club and the person you are working with will become a future president, or I don't know, maybe founder of some giant corporation, and you will never know. So while you're working there, it's important to create these connections that will maybe be beneficial for you in the future. Who knows? Maybe it's a little materialistic to think that way, but still, it's still important. And apart from the students that you will work with, you will also meet a lot of administration, professors, and these connections are also very important, you know. And from my experience, when you work with the administration, you can realize a lot of the things about how the university process work. So I don't know, maybe for some of you it's not very interesting, but for me it was. So yeah, you can get into the management of the university. And of course, the next thing is skills. So at our university, we have a lot of different types of clubs. So we have like academic clubs, we have like entertainment clubs where you, I don't know, dance or sing or play instruments. And some clubs are just for your, I don't know, development, maybe like DIY club or maybe languages. So you can earn the soft skills as well as the hard skills at the clubs. So when it comes to me, I worked in media. So as you can see in this picture, we were shooting interviews, and you know, all this gears like the cameras and lighting, it all seems very professional. And I got a chance to work with that because, you know, in our university, we have a lot of like opportunity. So it doesn't matter what you are working with. I'm sure there are a lot of utilities that you can use at the university that won't be available maybe if you were doing it elsewhere. For example, you know, we have like 3D printers in some clubs that they can use, or I don't know, they have instruments, their orchestra and stuff like this. And apart from the like a video production, I also worked in graphic design, and only because I worked at a student club, I have learned this skill. I won't imagine that I would have become a graphic designer if I wasn't working at the student government, for example. And also because you work in a team, and then if you stick long enough in the club, you will become a leader maybe someday. So you also get the soft skills like leadership, teamwork, time management, human management, and also communication. So I was a very shy person before on my foundation year when I just entered the student government. And throughout this long journey, I have like come out of my comfort zone and like become more sociable, yes. And overall, the experiences that you have at student clubs, they really widen your horizons. You meet very unstandard situation that you have to like come up with a solution very quickly. And some of the tasks are really challenging intellectually and like maybe not only. But another important thing is that, for example, I work at the Association of Political Science and I'm a political science student. And you know, this club is really related to my like area of interest. And when you work in a club, you become really expert in it. So you gain some knowledge which other students may not gain while they're not working, because they're not working in a club. So because you are devoting more time, more energy and into the topic, it is easier for you to, you know, raise your expertise, kind of. And next, I think one of the like most important points about the student clubs is that they will help you in the future. So when you work in a student club, you kind of, or student organization, you are working in a small model of a real life, big, I don't know, offices, works that you will be doing later after you finish your studies. And you gain that experience here in the club. And because you already have some skills that are that a worker in an office should have, you can write it into your CV, and also all the experiences that you have had at university clubs, you can use it in your CVs, and I don't know, potential admissions or CEOs, I don't know, someone, HR people, they will like value those experiences. And also through the clubs, you can meet people, your future job employers. Because for me, because I have been working in the media, I was meeting some people when organizing events, the speakers that were coming to our events, I was interacting with them, I was getting acquainted with them. So here, this is a picture that I took at Astana Hub. I was working there in the PR department because I was working in media. Like that's the way I was acquainted. And also this is the human rights hub here at Astana. I was also like, I also got acquainted with them through student clubs. And I was, I had a course there on human rights. So yeah, this experiences in student clubs really will help you in your future career. And that is, I don't know, a very good benefit of working there. And I was trying to keep my presentation short, so that's it for now. So my general advice would be for you to be very active, use the time at university for your fullest potential, try to enroll at everything that you see, as long as it doesn't harm your studies. Be curious, always try to use such opportunities like this, like MentorCon or other events, to, you know, ask all the questions, and I'm sure everybody will be just pleased to help you. We have such a community here that it is really welcoming help to each other. And don't be intimidated, you know. As I mentioned previously, I was really shy and I was like scared all the time. I was like scared to try things, to ask something. And, you know, it's a normal human reaction to feel anxious or scared before starting anything new, but eventually it will go away. So you just have to do the first step. So thank you for now, and I will answer all of your questions if you have any. Sabina is writing that it seems unreal for class of 24-25, but guys, you will eventually be on campus and you will try a lot of things, and even online you can have all of these experiences. Maybe there will be not the same or kind of limited, but still they're valuable. Okay, do you have any more questions? Okay, thank you guys. So Amina, I'm giving the floor to you again. Bye.
Thank you very much, Marika. Okay, so that is it for today. Thank you very much for joining the session and staying till the end. We will wait for you tomorrow for the MentorCon Day 2. And take care and have the good rest of the weekend. Okay, bye.